I've been musing a little about what the Roe overturning and thinking about history. I'm not really willing to criticize the Democrats for not codifying in federal law a right to abortion over the last 50 years. Who saw the utter transformation of the Republican Party coming the way it has come down? But I'm thinking back, we need to look at the history of AIDS in our country and the world. I started my nursing career in '82 in Los Angeles at the start of the AIDS epidemic, when that marginalized community was demonized. The only people who wanted to take care of the victims were the guys we called the worried well and lesbians, essentially. And they were ignored for years in the 80s. What happened? They organized themselves and ACT UP evolved. I think we women need to take a page from the ACT UP movement and start laying our bodies down in front of the walkways that these politicians want to walk on, crazy gluing our hands to their office doors, anything to make life uncomfortable for them. Because what did ACT UP do? Dr. Fauci was in NIH when AIDS evolved. He didn't really do much until ACT UP came along, and they put a pin in his rear end. And we started finding funding for medications that eventually got us to the protease inhibitors in the mid-'90s that have saved so many lives.
Yeah, part of the problem was the Reagan administration, Susan. I mean, Reagan refused to even mention the word AIDS throughout his entire 8 years of his presidency.
Precisely.
Two of my best friends died of AIDS. I remember that era very, very well.
Oh, absolutely. I had an apartment in West Hollywood. My neighbors were dying around me, and the community could not come together, even though we had a Democratic mayor, but we had a succession of Republican governors in California at the time. We had President Reagan. ACT UP came out of this environment where no one wanted to help them except their worried well friends and lesbians, essentially. Okay, and some Quakers, but really nobody wanted to help this marginalized community. They took it upon themselves and said, we're going to do something. They started getting in the face of our government, and miraculously, money came the way of research. And what did we find? We found not a cure, but a way to live with this disease.
Right.
And I'm thinking, for women, we've just sat back. What happened when this Roe decision of Dobbs came down? Nancy Pelosi read a poem. Some representatives stood on the Capitol steps and saying, God bless America, and we've all received in our emails a request for money. We need to do something to get into the face of anybody who can possibly help us. What Marjorie was telling you a little bit earlier about the ramifications, that nobody could ever foresee, that a woman can't get treatment for a disease because she might have a child possibly, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We need to get in their face.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Just look at ACT UP and take a page from their history.
I think that's brilliant, Susan. I absolutely do. And I remember that era very, very